Good morning and welcome to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. I hope everyone is doing well on this Friday morning. It is the weekend and we're back with another massive show to bring you guys today. But before we do that, please smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's get straight on into it. On the show this morning, we're going to be reacting to a story reporting that Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos are going to give Erik ten Hag one more season, i.e. next season, to kind of prove that, give him a proper chance. So we'll be talking about that. We'll also be talking about a potential swap deal for an Atletico Madrid player for Mason Greenwood, with lots and lots of clubs now circling apparently for Mason Greenwood's signature. Of course, we'll be talking about that. Also talking a little bit about the game against Aston Villa, which is obviously coming up on Sunday. Massive fixture. Talking a bit about a Kobe Mainoo new contract. There's so much to get into. And as always, I invite you to have your say on all things Manchester United in the comment section. Get involved. I try and make it as interactive as possible. Right, let's start the show off with this story about Ten Hag then, shall we? This is coming out from a journalist called Steve Bates. He writes for various different newspapers and websites here in the UK. And he is reporting this morning that senior sources at Manchester United say Erik ten Hag will be given another season to continue his vision of the new Manchester United. He says Erik ten Hag's willingness to embrace and integrate youth talent from the academy plays a lot to his favour at the club. What do I think of this? I think it's good. I think it's the right decision. I think Erik ten Hag should be given more time. I think Erik ten Hag, in that first season last year, deserves more time. You see Arteta at Arsenal. They're in their fourth or fifth season with Arteta now. They've won one trophy. Now, I know people will say Arteta are a better team than us. Arsenal are a better team than us. They're playing better football. I get it. They are, but they've still won nothing. They won one trophy, I think, in the first year of Arteta being there. He's been there for 4 or 5 years, and they've just been kind of, battling for top 4. Now, I know they're in a title race this season. Do I think they'll win the title? No, I don't personally. And I think that we just have to remember that, Erik ten Hag had an unbelievable season. And for people to already be trying to get rid of him after the season he's had with injuries, with the Jadon Sancho situation, the Mason Greenwood situation, the Antony situation. I mean, there's been so many incidents that have happened at the club behind the scenes, the takeover, all of this uncertainty. At one point we had, I think, 10 or 15 first team players out injured, Casemiro, Maguire, who else did we have out? Mason Mount, Luke Shaw, Martinez, pretty much all of our first team that did well last season were out injured. Antony was suspended. Eriksen was injured. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. So I think this is positive, and I think it shows a bit more maturity from Manchester United, that they're not just immediately looking to sack managers because they have a run of poor results when we're missing 50% plus of our best players. No manager, I don't think, would have done a better job than Erik ten Hag in that spell. When you're lining up against top teams and your defence, I remember in the Manchester derby, our defence was, I think, it was Dalot at left back. He's better at right back. It was Johnny Evans, who's 35 and got released from Leicester, who are in the Championship. It was Harry Maguire, who, let's be honest, isn't good enough to play for Man United. And I think it was Wan-Bissaka at right back, who I don't think has a future. I mean, when you look at it like that, what do you really expect? Do you think that team's going to go and beat Man City, who are one of the best teams in the world? No, clearly not. When we have our best team of Martinez, Varane, Luke Shaw, we have our best back four, I think we can go and at least compete against teams like Man City. But when you're playing, players that probably wouldn't even get in most top 5 or 6 teams in the Premier League, and that's being kind. Would Johnny Evans get in the Newcastle team? No. Would he get in the Tottenham team? No. Would he get in the Aston Villa team? No. Would Harry Maguire get in the Arsenal team? No. Man City? No. Liverpool? No. You see where I'm going with this? Would he get in the Tottenham team? Probably not. The same with Wan-Bissaka. Do you think Wan-Bissaka would get in any of those teams? Probably not. Now, Lumen says, Kieran, but how do you justify the embarrassing defeats of 4, 5 or 7 goals? That's down to the mentality of the players. They've done that under every single manager since Sir Alex Ferguson. This same set of players, when the going gets tough, a lot of the time their heads drop and they concede lots of goals. So I'm not going to blame Erik ten Hag for the players' mentalities dropping, because that's a personnel issue, and that's something that needs to be addressed in the summer. And that's why I want Erik ten Hag to stay, because I think he deserves the opportunity to really have his own team. If you look through the starting 11 that we say had against, let's have a look quickly. So against West Ham, let's have a look at our starting 11. So Onana, he signed. Dalot, he didn't. Maguire, he didn't. Martinez, he signed, but obviously went off injured. Luke Shaw, he didn't. So of the back 5 players who started against West Ham on the weekend, only 2 of them were Erik ten Hag signings. Right, go to the midfield. Kobe Mainoo's obviously come through the youth academy. Casemiro was his signing, but was it really his signing? We know he wanted Frankie de Jong. I don't think Casemiro was actually an Erik ten Hag signing. I think that was just, a Glazer, John Murta, Richard Arnold signing of Casemiro's a massive player. We'll sell loads of shirts and let's bring him in. So technically he was his signing, but I don't think, that Casemiro was top of the list above people like Frankie de Jong. Like, he simply wasn't. You look forward to the front line. Garnacho's obviously been here, come through the youth academy. Fernandes was here, Rashford was here, and Højlund is a new signing. So if you look at the team that played against West Ham, right, and I would say that's probably our best starting 11 at the moment, only 4 of those players were bought under Erik ten Hag: Martinez, Onana, Casemiro, and Højlund. And we know that he wanted Harry Kane instead of Højlund. We know that he wanted Frankie de Jong instead of Casemiro. And Martinez and Onana were his first choice signings. So the point I'm trying to make here is, I think he does deserve the summer to really shape up this squad. Maybe you bring in a new right back or a new left back. You definitely bring in a new centre back. Maybe you bring in another midfielder. Maybe you bring in another winger. Like, there's so many things that we can do. I know people will say, "Oh, he signed Anthony, he flopped." Okay, that's fine. That was disappointing. But the one thing that's really, really, clear for me is that Erik ten Hag should not be given the money and the responsibility to sign the players. That should be up to Omar Barada. That should be up to the director of football. Erik ten Hag can obviously have some say in it, but it shouldn't be 100% up to him, in my opinion. But obviously, let me know what you guys think. Are you, happy about this? Do you think Erik ten Hag deserves another season? Let's have a look. So, let's do a poll quickly. Anybody watching it back on repeat can get involved in the comment section. Do you think Erik ten Hag should be given next season or sacked in the summer? A simple question. Give him next season, sack in the summer. There we go. The thing you have to remember as well, right, is that Erik ten Hag only has 1 year left of his contract. So if we give him until next summer, there's not really any risk, in my opinion. Like, we're not going to win even if you went and brought in Zinedine Zidane next month, or, I don't know, Ancelotti, or whoever it is you think is going to change the tides at Man United, we're not going to win the Champions League next season because we probably won't even be in it. We're not going to win the Premier League next season because all the other teams are so far ahead of us. So for me, like, giving him another season with a proper structure behind him, it's an absolute no-brainer. It really, really is. Like, do you think Pep Guardiola would achieve what he's done if he had the Glazers behind him? I don't think he would, personally, but that's just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. I think he'd do better than, obviously, like a David Moyes, or a Louis van Gaal, or maybe a Jose Mourinho. But, like, I don't think he would be winning Champions Leagues with us if, say, what's he called, Pep Guardiola was here, personally. Right, let's see what people are saying in the chat this morning, or this afternoon for some of you. Lumen says, Kieran, he only deserves it because there isn't any replacements. There's plenty of people who could replace him if they wanted rid of him. They'll probably go and get Graham Potter, or they'll go and get. There's so many names out there of people who could replace Erik ten Hag. So I think it's a little bit unfair to say that we're only going to keep him because there's no one else. I just think that's a little bit unfair. Somebody says, I think we need 2 defenders, offloading Evans, Maguire and Varane, 2 midfielders, get rid of Mkhitaryan and Eriksen. I agree with that. Maybe Casemiro if the money is right, and a new striker to replace Martial. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that 100%. I think Evans, Maguire and Varane I would keep if, I would get rid of Evans and Maguire first. Varane would be the last of those 3 to go out the door for me. Midfielders-wise, I agree with you 100%, mate. McTominay and Eriksen definitely need to go in the summer. And like I said with the last one, Casemiro would be the last of those 3 that I'd get rid of. If McTominay and Eriksen went and then someone offered you 60 million for Casemiro, you'd have to take it. But I wouldn't get rid of him first. And then striker, I think, 100%. But as I said to you guys on the show yesterday, like, I think we really need to be looking at some slightly younger profile strikers, because going for someone like Ivan Toney or Victor Osimhen, like, that's just going to limit Rasmus Højlund's game time. And I genuinely believe that Rasmus Højlund is going to be our Victor Osimhen or our Ivan Toney or our Harry Kane in the next couple of years. And I think that the only way he'll achieve that is if he gets lots of opportunities, he gets lots of game time. Obviously, this season he's been the only striker, and I think it's benefited for him because he's played so much football that, you know, he is getting lots of opportunity and people are patient with him. Whereas I think if you bring in someone like Victor Osimhen or an Ivan Toney or whoever it might be, they're going to want to play every single game, and then it creates this kind of issue. I mean, you see it at Newcastle, right? And this is on a minor scale. So Newcastle have obviously got Callum Wilson and Isak. Both of them are good players, right? And you can already see that both of them think they should be starting the games, but they're both not able to, and it creates a tension. It creates a problem, I think, for me personally. And I think that we desperately need to bring in somebody of a younger profile, maybe like just to reel off some names, like a Benjamin Sesko, a Gonzalo Ramos, somebody who's like around the age of 20, maybe Santiago Jimenez from Feyenoord. You know, there's lots of profiles of players out there who are kind of around the 20 years of age mark, 20, 21 tops, who could come in and you could easily rotate between the two of them and it would cause no issue because, you know, say if you sign Santiago Jimenez from Feyenoord, he's not going to be expecting to be starting every single game of every single match at Manchester United because he's coming from Feyenoord, and all respect to Feyenoord, you know, they're not on the level of a Man United. Whereas Ivan Toney, playing in the Premier League already, scoring 20 goals, I think, last season for Brentford, why would he come to United to sit on the bench for Rasmus Højlund? Like, he's not going to do that. The same with Victor Osimhen, you know, he's playing in the Champions League. He's playing for Napoli. He plays for the Nigeria national team. He's, you know, getting really good stats each season. Why would he come and then be like, oh yeah, I'll just rotate with Rasmus Højlund? Like, it's not going to happen. So I think we've got to be very, very careful, really. I'm just having a look at how Victor Osimhen's done this season because I haven't really heard that much about him, really, to be honest, by way of like goal scoring. He's got 7 goals in 13 matches. I mean, that's pretty good. He did really well last season, obviously, didn't he? 26 goals in 32 matches. Yeah, let's see what people are saying in the poll then quickly. So 82% of you say give Erik ten Hag at least next season, which I agree with. And then 18% of you say we should sack him in the summer. Yeah, it's interesting. Right, let's move on to everyone who's just joined, by the way. Can you smash a like on the video? Let's try and see 200 likes on today's video. If everybody likes the video now, we should achieve that. So give it a quick like. Doesn't cost any money. It really helps the channel to be shown to more people. And, I would appreciate it. So please do that if you haven't already. What was I going to say? Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Mason Greenwood. So the story this morning coming out from Spain is that apparently Atletico Madrid are interested in signing Mason Greenwood in the summer. I actually could see that happening. Like, I can see Mason Greenwood in an Atletico Madrid shirt. We know that he's doing well over in La Liga at Getafe. We know that Barcelona are also interested. We heard that Real Madrid are interested, but I don't really see how that one would happen. Obviously, it seemed like Jude Bellingham and Mason Greenwood had some sort of dispute on the pitch. Some things were said a couple of weeks ago, I think, in that game. And I don't think Real Madrid would be stupid enough to disrupt, their star player, Jude Bellingham, by bringing in a player that maybe, for whatever reason, Jude Bellingham doesn't like. But yeah, I think Atletico Madrid is definitely a realistic option. I think Barcelona, maybe not so much, just because of their money issues. I think, Barcelona are going to be looking to offload players this summer before they can bring in anybody. So I think Atletico Madrid would actually be a really, really good option. And off the back of this, a story also came out saying, obviously, Joao Felix is unhappy at Atletico Madrid. We know that him and Diego Simeone supposedly fell out. And as we all know, he's on loan at Barcelona at the moment. Now, the story this morning is that apparently Barcelona want to try and make the Joao Felix deal a permanent deal. But as I just said, Barcelona are in an absolute mess financially. And I think it'll be a very, very difficult deal to do because, I know when Atletico Madrid were, saying Joao Felix was for sale a couple of seasons ago, they wanted like £100 million or something. Like, it was crazy, crazy money. Absolutely ridiculous. Atletico Madrid, I don't know why, to be honest with you, they invested 127 million euros in Joao Felix. They obviously thought he was going to go out and be, one of the best players in the world. And in my opinion, that just hasn't really happened. He's got 4 goals in La Liga so far this season in 18 matches, which for a forward player, like, I know it's obviously better than Anthony, so I'm not going to say it's not very good, but for somebody that cost nearly 130 million euros to be only getting 4 goals in 18 matches in La Liga, playing for Barcelona, probably one of the best teams at the top of the end of the La Liga. Like, that's not really that good, is it? Obviously, he went on loan to Chelsea. That didn't really work. And now he's gone back to Barcelona on loan. So, I don't know. I think, if there was a genuine opportunity for us to swap Mason Greenwood for Joao Felix, I probably would do it. I think Joao Felix could become a good player at Man United. Obviously, there's that Portuguese connection as well with Diogo Dalot and Bruno Fernandes. Will it happen? I'm not sure, mate. I'm not sure, guys, to be honest. I'm not sure. Like, I would say at the moment it's probably unlikely. Like, swap deals don't really ever seem to happen. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. The issue with Joao Felix as well is he's just signed a really long deal with Atletico Madrid. So if they say they want 100 million for him, then they'll try and get that. Is he worth that? No, he's probably worth about 40 or 50 million in my opinion, which is around the same kind of price as I'd say Mason Greenwood is worth. So maybe there's a way to make it happen. Obviously, this deal's at a very, very early stage, but you can let me know in the comment section, guys. Would you do this deal? Would you do this deal if there was an option on the table for it? Joao Felix for Mason Greenwood. I'm just having a look at how much he earns at the moment in. Yeah, I mean, this is the problem as well. His wages are quite big. He's on about 350 grand a week at Barcelona, which is ridiculous in my opinion. But obviously this is Barcelona. They give stupid wages. Big ups to Fred, who's just gifted 5 Daily Red Devil memberships. Thank you so much for your support, my friend. Anybody who's just got a membership to the channel, please do say thank you to Fred in the comment section and in the live chat. So big ups to you, Fred. I hope you're doing well, my friend. I hope all is good with you. Right, and then there's another story that we wanted to talk about really quickly on the show is about Kobbie Mainoo's new contract. So this story broke last night, and the headline is that Manchester United are apparently now in talks with Kobbie Mainoo over a new deal. I've got no issue with this whatsoever. People will say, oh, why do we always do this? Why do we, a player has a couple of good games and then we give them a new contract? I agree with you somewhat, but you've got to give a bit of context to this conversation, okay? Kobbie Mainoo at Manchester United currently, as it stands, is earning £10,000 a week. Now, I know to me or you, that's an incredible amount of money, 10,000 a week. That's life-changing amount of money for most people. But for a professional footballer playing at a club like Manchester United, and now for a player who's playing every single game, £10,000 a week is literally laughable, to be honest with you. It is laughable. To give you a bit of context, right? Mason Mount, how many games has Mason Mount played this season? About 5? Mason Mount's on 250 grand a week. Mason Mount is earning 25 times the amount as what Mason Mount is earning at the moment. Christian Eriksen, injury prone, 30 years of age, can barely play one half without looking like he's going to need to come off. He's earning 150 grand a week, 15 times what Kobbie Mainoo's earning. Even if you go further down the table, right, to someone like Scott McTominay, who I think everybody in the fan base would agree should be sold, he's earning 60,000 a week. So he's earning 6 times the amount Kobbie Mainoo is earning. So the point I'm trying to make here is that although it seems maybe a little bit premature to be giving out a new contract to Kobbie Mainoo, because some will argue, he's only had 10 good games at Man United, which I would agree with, but the amount he's earning at the moment is more like what a youth player would earn in the under-21s. It's not really the kind of level of a professional player in the Manchester United first team who's starting week in, week out. To give a bit more context, right, Garnacho got a new contract last season. He was in a similar position to Kobbie Mainoo where he was earning about 5 to 10,000 a week. He's now earning 50. So as long as it's kind of like going from 10 to maybe 40, 50 tops, I've got no issue with it whatsoever. I love Kobbie Mainoo. I think he's a quality player. I think he can become the player we all think he can become. Obviously, there's no guarantee. As long as he doesn't get injured, as long as he's kind of developed correctly, which I think he has been done incredibly so far by Erik ten Hag, I honestly think that he could be... I'll be completely honest with you guys. He's better than McTominay already, without a shadow of a doubt. Like, and I'm not just saying that because, oh, he's had 10 good games. I'm just looking at it from when you actually watch Kobbie Mainoo on that pitch, you can see the attributes and the skills that he possesses. Whereas when I watch Scott McTominay, all he does is either foul people, give the ball away, pass it backwards, pass it sideways. And yes, arguably he does get the odd goal here and there, which I'll say is a positive from him. But other than that, for me, Scott McTominay offers nothing. Whereas Kobbie Mainoo, he's good on the ball. He's putting the ball forward. He's been getting goals. He's good at tackling. He's physical. He's fast. He's strong. Like all of these things, which a player like Scott McTominay just simply doesn't possess. So, yeah. Let's see what else people are saying in the chat this morning. Somebody's saying, no way, Greenwood is way better than Joao Felix. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't disagree with you, mate, to be honest. I think, Greenwood is better than Joao Felix, but I just think Joao Felix... Sorry, I think the likelihood of Mason Greenwood coming back to Manchester United is very, very slim. So, a loan deal... Sorry, not a loan deal. A swap deal is probably the most realistic, or, a full sale away from the club. So we'll wait and see what happens with that one. Obviously, let me know what you think about everything we've discussed on today's show. I'm going to head off now, guys. I will be back this evening at about 6 o'clock. Please do smash a like on the video before you go. If you are new, subscribe to the channel. Doesn't cost any money. Get involved. Have a great day, everybody. And I'll speak to you all this evening.